All right, an Oscar-nominated documentary is telling the story of the children who lost their lives in school shootings in this country through the empty bedrooms that they have left behind.
So we are chatting now with CBS News correspondent Steve Hartman to find out more about this project, again called All the Empty Rooms. Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Now, normally, we see your pieces, which we absolutely love a good Steve Hartman piece, and they are warm, fuzzy, sometimes some tear-jerkers, but they, kind of remind us of the humanity of our world and our country. This one is a little harder to watch, but it is so good. I remember when it came out about a little over a year ago. I had to take a break. I had to go for a walk because it was so emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is emotional, and it's way off brand for me, which is why I didn't even tell CBS I was doing this for years, because I thought they'd say no. But at the same time, I really felt a passion to tell this story and a passion for this mission to restore some empathy around the issue of school shootings. Because I felt like we were just growing numb to them, and I was hoping that I could come up with some way to end that numbness and make people feel again.
I was wondering about that because I think back, I remember Columbine. I was in college and I actually stayed home from class because I was glued to the TV. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And now, I mean, it's disgusting to say, but it's just a news story that comes in and out, it seems like. And obviously you're with these families, you can feel their pain, but that moment you walk into the bedroom, how does that feel?
Well, I mean, I think you're struck by just how quickly this life was snuffed out, because many of the rooms remain just as they were the day the child left for school. And sometimes we're in the room, a year, 2 years, sometimes 5 years later, and the room is still just as it is. Yeah. And there's just little things, the tiny things, like the cap on the toothpaste tube was never put back on, because that's one of those tasks that you think you're just going to come back and do later. So it's pretty stark, but I think it's really important because, until, I felt like I'd lost my empathy. Just you say, the news stories come and go so quickly now. That had that was affecting me, and I wanted to be shaken out of that numbness. Yeah. And my goal is really to take everybody inside those rooms in the hopes that maybe this can be a starting point where we can sort of reset the argument and maybe come up with some kind of compromises to make some change.
Steve, you're a parent yourself. What did the parents tell you as to why they were willing to participate?
Well, I sent letters to virtually everybody who lost a child since Sandy Hook, really. Oh my God. And most of them, it's too private, too personal, which I completely understand, because these rooms are sacred spaces that oftentimes even friends and family are not allowed. But those who did agree, I think more than anything, they just wanted the world to remember their child. And they wanted their child's loss to stand for something, to find some kind of purpose. And I really hope now more than anything that the film does that these lives that were lost do have a purpose still. And we'll see how it goes. Certainly if we're lucky enough and it wins an Oscar, there'll be a huge focus put on the film that can't help but maybe affect some change. Yeah.
Well, All the Empty Rooms is now streaming on Netflix. As you mentioned, it has been nominated for an Oscar, so we will see how that turns out. But Steve, thank you for sharing so many stories across our country and all the people who've been touched by those stories.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
All right. Thanks Steve.